The English class starts at grade 3. It's 40 minutes a week. And okay, so for grade 5, it's 80 minutes a week. And for the vocabulary part, students only have to learn 300 vocabulary in elementary school. That's a national requirement. And they only need to be able to write 180 words in English when they graduate from elementary school in 6th grade. The way the textbook is designed or put together is they based their content on the 1,200 most frequent vocabulary in helping them write the English textbooks, but they focus on the 300 words from 3rd grade to 6th grade. There's 6 textbooks. No, eight of them. 2 textbooks for each grade. Okay, so this is like the background of it. And right now, you can see that in Taiwan, not every city is on the same page because a lot of cities in Taiwan, 8 major cities at least, start their English at grade 1. Taipei, New Taipei City is right here. Keelung, Yilan, Hualien, Taichung City, Tainan City, and some in Kaohsiung. But in Miaoli, Zhanghua, Yunlin, Jiayi, Pingdong, Hualien, Taidong, a lot of cities, these cities, they begin their English curriculum from grade 3. So we're not exactly on the same page here. But right now, Taiwan is working on the 2030 bilingual nation, becoming a bilingual nation policy, and to bolster Taiwan's bilingual education system and enhance nation's overall competitiveness. And so, with all these in mind, that's why right now we're trying to try out the science lessons in English, and so bilingual science. So remember that our national curriculum only demanded the students to memorize 300 words. Okay. But now we're designing lessons so that students can learn science, and it's got to be more than those 300 words. All right, so CLIL has been the approach that Taiwan is, promoting bilingual education. CLIL has a pretty well laid out curriculum design framework. You may be familiar with COIL's 4 C's framework for designing CLIL classes, which is content and language integrated learning. We focus on the content and the language in a balance of both. So here for scientific literacy and CLIL, we focus on the science content, and we are today we're going to look at the language part and how we are we going to limit ourselves to the 300 words? Absolutely not. But how do we provide students with language that are understandable for them to comprehensible, like for them to learn science, and that's the key. So you can take a look at this CLIL wheel here. I really like this. This is something that is apart from, different from Du Quoyle's the language triptych, which is language of learning, for learning, and through learning. I think that the language triptych is what we're most familiar with. And so today I'd like to show you something that was proposed by Alexandra Caparucha in 2019, based on putting CLIL in practice. Phil Ball, Keith Kelly, and John Gregg's book. Okay, so we're gonna focus on the communication part right here. You can see that the 4Cs framework is still here. It's communication, content, communication, cognition, and culture, which is right, the outer circle, including everything, because culture is, well, culture is language, and culture is where we are going to give our lessons, science lessons. We teach science differently, um, you know, in different parts of the world, and that's where culture comes from. Okay, so for communications, you can see here the 3 dimensions. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the 3 dimensions by proposed, this is the what's what they've covered in putting CLIL into practice. The 3 dimensions is conceptual, procedural, and linguistics. Okay, conceptual is basically like the content, and linguistic, the more complicated the concept is, the more complicated the language might be. Procedural is the process in which you help kids understand the concepts or procedures that involved in in the case of science, conducting the experiments. Those in how the hows is what's procedural. Okay, so my focus here is the key language. When it comes to a science lesson, first of all, like, depending on your topic, we need to know what the key language or key vocabulary is. And in a science lesson, we usually think of instruction and how we're going to give the instruction, like how do we simplify the language enough for kids to comprehend our instructions. And this is what I like here, the interaction, and you see student action, SS, student interaction. So I really like this aspect, but this might be a bit difficult for EFL students, English language learners, because our learners don't have the language yet. Okay, but this last part, supported output, is what I really like to emphasize, especially in a science class or in any other bilingual educational subjects. And I really like to see that when we are preparing for a lesson, that we're supporting students to express their thoughts, so supported output. In this case, we're providing supported output for kids to be able to express in English. Okay. All right. So far, Michelle, what do you think?
Yeah, so far it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So right here, I listed communication, instruction, key language, interaction, which is student to student, and supported output. These 4 key elements for communication, which is the language part of the class, that we can keep in mind and plan. So a lot of teacher might think that science is too difficult for kids to understand and comprehend, and the language involved is so difficult. For example, last week we've talked about, Michelle and I and all, our participant, Yiming Lao Shi, and also Tiana from Serbia. Okay, we've talked about whether or not we should memorize all those scientific terms. But here in Taiwan, well, we're teaching the kids science bilingually. I don't know, you know, So I'm not sure how other foreign language, other countries were trying out CLIL, especially in science, what their focus is. But this is the classroom language for science classroom language. Let's take a look here. So basically, in the science classroom, the classroom language, the teacher, the questions that teachers asked, might not be that difficult. This is based on one of the class that I've observed, and I jot down every question, not every, but almost all the questions that the instructor asked. What is this? So I remember this is teacher Lawrence's class from Changping Elementary School in New Taipei City. So he's going through, the lesson on dissolution, and he's asking, what is this? What are these? Okay, going through the materials that students might need. Do you know what this is? And we need like prompting students to answer to the following, thing that they need. How do we dissolve sugar candy? What do I do next? How do I take it out of the bag? Something like that, because they're putting like a sugar brick, they have a sugar brick in the bag, and how do they take it out of the bag and to dissolve it? Can you do that for me? How do we dissolve the sugar candy faster? What else? Okay, these are the questions that teacher Lance asked within the 40 minutes. And here are some instructions that he gave, the procedures that he asked students to do to conduct this dissolution experiment. He says, open the bag, put the sugar brick in, put your hand underneath. Okay, put your hand underneath the bag. Write your group number in the corner. Don't touch it. This is done with like visuals. Okay, in the corner. Don't touch it. Get the toy out, because they've got a toy in the sugar brick. Dissolve all the sugar candy. Show me where is 600 milliliter. Okay, and hold the teapot, add more water, add heat, and these are very simple directions, and they are, if you've observed, usually the shorter ones are like 3 words each. Okay, 2 words, add heat, and these are some of the longer ones, and we're talking about 3rd grade science. So these are encouraging feedback to students, encouraging them. Excellent, very good, right? Okay, so this is the science classroom language. Again, dissolution experiment materials that teacher Lawrence is going through. What do I need? What is this? What are these? I remember in like a normal English class, we would have English lessons on what is this? This is a pen. But in this case, we're learning science using the same questions, but we're, engaging them in a science experiment, and which they will do hands-on. So I think this is, the language is appropriate, and, kids get to do the science experiment, and it's fun for them. Okay. And they're learning so much more than English, and they're using the language in the classroom. So what is this? And they would answer chopsticks, teapot, so this is the sugar candy with the toy inside. Okay. So this is the experimental procedure. Put sugar candy into the beaker, and they know beaker because they've been using uh, a beakers, throughout the semester. Add 600 milliliter of hot water, and then stir. So 3 simple steps. And Teacher Lance asked the students to record data, get the toy out, dissolve all the sugar candy. When you get the toy out, write down the time. And you see we have six different recorded times on the on the board. Uh, and each group is different. Okay, they jotted down two different time, because the first one would be when they get the toy out. The second one would be when the sugar candy is dissolved. Now, write down the time when the sugar candy is dissolved. Okay, so throughout the lesson, they hear a lot of dissolve, 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 dissolve. Okay, and so dissolve might be a very difficult word, but when you hear it a lot, like within one lesson or 4 lessons within a month, kids get to know what dissolve is. Okay, although it might be difficult, it might not be the a vocabulary that they would learn in an English curriculum, but this is, they're learning the lesson on dissolve.
I have a question, please.
Yeah.
Okay, you mentioned that dissolve is not a word that they would normally understand in ordinary lives. Does this mean that before all of these experiments, we should tell students what the word dissolve means? And if so, how do we do it? Or how did teacher Lance do it?
Oh, that's a great question. The way teacher Lance did it, explaining what dissolve means, is through, I think it's through a like a chant. Let me see if I have the no. Okay. I should include the um, the video that students were chanting, what dissolve means. He gave students a definition, and he says that dissolve means when you put something in the water, it disappears. That and But not, this is not the exact phrasing, but he's using gestures to help kids with a chant, um, help kids understand what dissolve means. But I think also through the experiments, kids understand what dissolve means, because also because in their science class, they have also experimented with adding salt and pepper into the water and, see if they dissolve. So they found out that salt dissolve, you're able to dissolve salts, but you're not able to dissolve pepper. And so from observing how salt is dissolved in water, they also understand the word dissolve. But they do have a chant type of and gesture type of TPR type of thing to help kids understand, and that's the language part. So Michelle, that's a very good question.
Okay, thanks for that. And that's a good approach. It's not simply a definition.
Mm-hmm.
It does not just say dissolve means blah, blah, blah. But
Mm-hmm.
because they had a chant and they can act it out, then it becomes more memorable for students.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for
Thank,
that.
thank you for asking that question. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this one. Okay. All right, so observe how students conduct the experiments. And I think I have excited. They're adding warm water or hot water into their beaker. And you can see that the water, it's brownish because it's brown sugar candy brick. Okay. And so Teacher Lance gave each group, like I think three groups hot water and three groups like lukewarm water. And so students need to figure out why they're one of the students says, "Niao, take out the toy. Don't touch. Stir, stir, stir." So you can see here that they're actually, even though they're not required to speak English, they were actually, reminding each other what to do in English. Okay. But, the thing is that they might not be doing it right because they need to take turns and stir it. Like each person take turns and stir it because in an experiment, well, if you have three different groups having hot water and three different groups having warm water and you're timing them, so you need to control the variables. Like if we need to control the number of times they stir and how fast they stir. Yeah, so the other group is counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the other group is following, like each take turns and stir 10 times. Anyways, so this is the process of their experiment of dissolving the sugar candy. Okay. And I thank Teacher Lance for willing to share his photos and lessons for us. So in the question is, how do we dissolve sugar candy faster? This is something, he was asking students, how do we dissolve faster? And they had to come up with like, we can dissolve it by, by heating the water, by having hot water, and oh, here it is, Michelle, the definition. This is the definition that Teacher Lance gave the students: put something into water to help it dissolve. Well, not really. Put something into water to help it dissolve, but perhaps this is not. Okay. Oh, that's the definition of dissolution. Okay. All right. So, and also other approaches in the classroom on questioning and helping students think, what must I do? Because he's not giving out the instruction like one by one. He's trying to elicit students' answers. What must I do next? Or where must I put it? What do I do? How do I take it out of the bag? Who is going to pour the water? So these are questions that he was asking students to try to elicit their answers. Okay. And you can see that students are very excited once they took the toy out. And later on they were, discussing like what's the factor of, helping it dissolve faster. Okay. All right. So this is, just a short analysis and sharing for a science lesson. And today, another part of the focus is to show you how to analyze the vocabulary. So Michelle and I will go through the steps of, of analyzing your own vocabulary lesson. Okay. One of the tools I use, okay, I'd like to introduce is this one, but I need to, okay, I need this to go up. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Michelle, I don't know if you've, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't know if you're familiar with Lexile.
No, I'm not.
Okay. So if you go to lexile.com, 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 okay, and go to Lexile Tools, Lexile Analyzer, you can find this. Okay. And usually the way I do it is I like to show you another one. This is Studies Weekly. This is what my son was studying for his social studies in 4th grade in the States. And I find this very, like this platform of learning is very nicely designed for English language learners. And I know that they've got really nice social studies, and they've also have science. And I've only tried out the science part not recently, but a couple years, 2 years ago. And let's take a look at the Science Weekly for 1st grade. If you click on it, you can see that they have the week, like the lessons. One of the lesson is on sound. How do voices make sound? And if you click on it, Michelle, can you hear that?
No.
No, you can't? Okay. Oh, so we're not recording the voice, the audio. Okay. Anyways, if you click on it, they will read aloud for the learners, and that's really nice for kids to read and also listen to someone else read. And so sound is a type of energy. Some people hear sounds with their ears, some people feel sound with their body. And this is this lesson on sound. After you've read it or listened to it, here are some questions. How can people experience sound without using their ears? You can answer it. Michelle, so what's the answer?
I can feel it.
You can feel it? You can feel it? Correct! Yay! And the thing is, you get to earn coins. And after you earn coins, you get to play games. You see here, this is this one here. This is misspelled. And if you click on it, it'll take you to an activity. Okay. On spelling. And so this is more like language focused. This activity itself is more language focused, more on spelling and the terms. Perhaps I'm not sure if it's on sounds. No. This part is incorrect spelling and this is correct. Okay. So I think this is quite, you need to put the words with the right spelling. What is this? Soon? Is this right?
No.
No? Okay. This is right. Vocal cords. Is this right?
No.
Oh, that's with an S. I'm not sure if showing students, what is this?
Vibration, wrong spelling.
Oh, then this vibration is right, right? Okay. So it's actually a little bit challenging. Okay. So just to give you some idea. Okay, going back here, yeah, you could, there's comprehension questions and there are also, okay. So what I would like to do is like copy and paste. No, am I allowed to copy and paste? And go back to the Lexile part. Oops, not this one. The Lexile part. Okay, this one. And paste it here. No. Okay. Let me find one that we can copy and paste. And let me show you how you could analyze text and, select, know the words that are difficult for kids. Science, let's try out 4th grade. Which one? Wavelength. Okay. Oh wait. They have really nice. Student edition waves. Okay. Oh, you see, this is what students would get in hard copies. They would get sort of like a newspaper type of thing. And I really like the colorful design. And is this 4th grade? Looks very complicated. Yes. It is? Okay. Properties of wave. Okay, let me copy and I know we can copy and paste it from here. Copy, and then we're gonna paste it here. Oops. Okay. You see here, you can paste it and then analyze it.
What are we analyzing here?
We're analyzing how difficult these Lexile is. It ranges from 610L to 800L. So these are more complicated ones. Sentence strength, it's harder. The word frequency, it's like less frequent. And for the vocabulary, the analyzer selects up to 10 words from the text that have been identified as having significant consequence or relevance that can be used to help inform instruction. And, so they choose this word and have the explanation here. Perhaps this, I don't even know what this means. Emissions from motor vehicle.
Gaseous means.
Yeah, can you unmute your mic?
Oh, sorry. Gaseous means it has the properties of a gas.
Thank you. Okay, so also, if this is the Lexile 610 to 810, there's like if you go back to, they also have a word list function. And if you see, we've chosen 4th grade, right? Wait, I like to show you this. this is the benefit of using Lexile for the analysis for your science. What, you know, if you're designing a science textbook or any type of textbook in English, you know, I would go and analyze the Lexile to get an idea of whether or not it's too complicated. So right here, consider the source. Other academic word lists are based on materials not read by grade K to 12 students, meaning they're based on college textbooks, journal articles, state standards, documents. But, you know, the Lexile word list contains, you know, this, and they also contains words that are irrelevant to K-12 students. But this Lexile word list, it's more based on the four best-selling science, math, social studies, and ELA, English Language Arts textbook program in grades 1 to 12 reflect the words students will actually encounter. So if you use the Lexile framework, then you would be able to know more about the words that K-12 students in the States, what they use, okay, as a reference. So right here, they also have the word list, and it could be in PDF file and word frequency, and you can download it. Is it downloading?
Seems not.
Okay. And yeah. Or the spreadsheet. Is it downloading somewhere? No. Okay. I tried out last night and it worked. Perhaps I can, you know, I can provide one list from one of the word list later on Facebook and on our Canvas course. Okay, but with the same list, you can go to Complete Lex Tutor. This is this one. This is something that I really liked. You know, I strongly suggest my students and teachers to use. And I would go to vocabulary profile, vocab profile, and you see VP Kids. This is Plan Study L1, L2 Language Development for grade 0 to 3. And I would just copy and paste that, the same text here, and submit. And you can see that, wow, within this short text, if kids know the first 250 words, they are able to understand 51% of this article, of the words in this article. And K250, the second level, would be if they have 500 word bank, word list words, they are able to understand up to 64%. So let's take a look at first K. It would be if the student has a word bank of 1,000 word, they'll be able to understand 72%. And remember, like in Taiwan, kids only need to memorize 300 words. This text would be absolutely too difficult for them. Do you see what I'm saying, Michelle?
Yes. So did I get it?
No, can you unmute your mic?
There you go. Did I get it correctly? When you say Kid 250-1, it means that we are referring to those kids whose level of English contains 250 words. Is that what it means?
So this is they have a word list of 250 words, and basically kids who know these 250 words, you can see the list of words here.
Okay.
These are very commonly used words, the most frequently used words for kids.
Okay.
Yeah, so they'll, yeah, basically, if they know the 250 words, they'll be able to know only, understand these in the text. And most of them are like all, and, are, at, away, before, but, can, do. So these are not very, a lot of the first 250 words are like function words, not content words. But that's not the 300 words have been chosen for the English curriculum in Taiwan. The 300 word list for our primary school students are mostly nouns and verbs, not counting the function words. So, but you can see the most difficult ones are like here, right here. It's like experiments, earth, empty, nature, solid, solid, solid. So solid is you know solid is not easy to understand. The word, however, is a big word. Scientists, Miles, property would perhaps be too difficult for kids. But matter is a word, a concept that we need to know in science, right?
Yes, it is an important word in science.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so these are like more difficult, less frequently used words, and we need to be able to use some like incorporate different ways and to help kids understand these concepts. So that's why it's pretty challenging. Yeah.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes.
So it seems as if this text is quite difficult for students.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're going to assign this text to them, what can we do so that we ensure that students understand
Mm-hmm.
the content?
Good. That's a good question. And I think what we can do is to simplify the text. So these are, you know, these words that are highlighted, it might be too difficult for them, but we can use like paraphrase, use simplified, short, like a more simple type of sentence structure, and using visuals and or videos to help them understand. So I like to show you, to answer your question, I like to show you how you see these texts are very long ones, but if you go back to first and second graders, they're talking about sound, and sound is difficult, right? Sound is sound is difficult, but they are using very short. Oh, this is their lesson plan. And in scientific literacy and CLIL, in our second week, we've talked about storyline, and they're following. This is the storyline, the science standards, science and engineering practices. The core idea is wave properties, and cross-cutting concept is energy and matter. And you see here the vocabulary. Okay, the weekly phenomenon is how do voices make sound? What I like about the science curriculum in the States is that they really, they would have essential questions for the kids to answer. And this is how do voices make sound? One of, like, they pose essential questions and phenomenon for students to investigate and try to figure out the answer. So you can see here, vocabulary is a type of energy that you can hear and feel, and noise is sound that is unpleasant. Music is sound that is pleasant and has a pattern, okay? And this is vibration, quick back and forth movement. And so this is the weekly assessment question. Sounds is a kind of, food, energy, pencil, person, and so it's energy. Noise is sound that people like, false, okay? So these are some of the questions. And so you can see here, this is what kids get this in first grade. It's very, although this is a bit, sound is a complicated concept for kids to understand. They use very simple sentences to explain. Sound is a type of energy. Some people hear sounds with their ears. Some people feel sounds with their body, okay? And sound waves are invisible. And within, experiment here laid out that we could all try out for the lesson on sound. Yeah. So basically, my observation is shorten the sentence, provide lots of example, and visual is very important. Visual. I don't know if I've answered your question, but
Yes, you did.
okay. So take a look at this right here. So what I like about Studies Weekly is that, no, I'm not a sales for Studies Weekly, but it's just that my son has used Studies Weekly, and having a teacher's account, I get to know that the articles are all analyzed with Lexile measures, and you can see that what is sound in this first article, it's 10L to Lexile to 200, and the word count is 20, and this is that it. And Michelle, take a look here, their lesson plan. And our next week is for our scientific literacy and CLIL is for teachers to share their lesson plans. And we've introduced the 5 E's in our first week. And they, right here, they've also used engage, explore, and explain. They're incorporating the 5 E's in their lesson plan. So I really like, really like how they lay out, their lesson plan, and also their Lexile measure, giving us an idea, the difficulty level of the vocabulary. So what we like here for EFL learners is to have our Lexile measure under 200 Lexile, I think. Even with 200, like, it's pretty, difficult.
Okay, I have a question, please.
Mhm.
You mentioned that you're able to get this. Oh, sorry, can you please go back to the same page?
Okay.
You mentioned that you were able to get this text because you have a teacher account. Can we
Yes.
sign up for one for free?
I don't think it's free. Yeah, they have like a yearly subscription rate. But I think it's not very expensive. That's why, compared to other like big publishing companies. So that's why I
Oh,
recommend
I
it.
see.
Yeah.
Thank you. And then you showed us another website earlier where we
Mhm.
analyzed. How about that?
Yes,
Is that
that's
for free?
free. Yeah, this one is
Okay,
for free. Let's come.
that's good.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, that's good.
Okay.
So that's
Yeah.
lextutor.ca.
Yeah, this one, lextutor.ca. All right. There are a lot more different functions, and if you're interested, maybe we can do some other analysis, on lexical tutor. But I guess that's it for today then.
Okay. And you mentioned earlier about lesson plans. We are
Yes.
looking forward to next week. Would you like
Uh-huh.
to tell us more about it, Dr. Jane?
Okay, yes, next week, okay, maybe I should sign in. Next week, we're actually, um, in Taiwan, we're celebrating Lunar New Year on the 11th. So on the 13th would be the second day of our new year. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have our live event on the 9th, and we will be inviting two teachers. One is Lulu Lin from Zhongzheng Elementary School in Taipei, and one is Chen Yanfu 老师 from Minzu Elementary School in Taipei, and they're going to talk about, Lulu Lin is going to talk about magnets and how she taught magnets to third graders, and um, Mr. Chen Yanfu is going to talk about air, how he taught air to his students. So this is our Canvas course work, and we are right here on our 4th week discussion. And right here, week 4, work on science lessons together. I'd like you to give us, share some your life science lessons here. And for week 5, all we plan for you to share your science lessons and give each other feedback according to this lesson plan rubric. Okay, so I think that's it. And I'd like you to, join us on the discussion. We had some lively discussions earlier in earlier weeks, and we really would like you to come on to our course website and share your lessons. And we could, if you're teaching next semester, this is a place where you could come and join us, and we can discuss your science lessons for your English language learner. So welcome you to Scientific Literacy and CLIL. We're going to end our session on the 13th of February, but we're having a live event on the 9th at the same time. Yeah. Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you too. How about Patty? Do you want to share anything?
Just look forward to the next session.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Patty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that's it. Thank you all very much for joining us. Science, literacy, and CLIL. And I hope that you could give us some feedback and ask questions. We'll be here to answer your questions. Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry, I wanna say thanks. Thank you, Dr. Jen, to share us these useful website.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes. I didn't know that there are websites that actually analyze text to that detail. So by knowing that there are such websites, then we can use them as tools when we want to teach a new science lesson to our students.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you too.
All right, so we're going to stop our live. And in OBS. Bye-bye.
Bye.